Hey guys, in this video I'm going to talk a little bit about the fine art of stealing, or you don't own that technique, bro. So I'm Daniel Norton, I'm a photographer here in New York. These videos are all about my philosophy and my experience being a professional photographer, commercial photographer for many years. I'd like to throw some insight out there for you guys. So if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. Comment below, tell me that you're new, and I'll check out your stuff. So anyways, if you've been around, you can do that too, I guess. Don't want to just throw that to new people. If you guys have been around though, and if you haven't, you'll have to trust me, you'll know that I'm constantly joking with Seth, my studio mate Seth, fellow photographer, awesome guy, about, oh, that's my technique, or you took that technique. And we're joking, right? But there are people that take these things really seriously. They think that somehow this like built-in feature of a camera or of a remote or of a light or whatever is theirs because they happen to use it. It's not, you know? The thing is a technique. It's there. Almost everything that everybody's doing has been done. Unless you're building your stuff from scratch, you're probably not the first person to do it. So if you are that person and you think that, oh man, this is like some special technique, I better like turn my back to my photo assistant so they don't see how I did it, I think you better reevaluate your style. Because style shouldn't be about that. Style should be fluid, that works through no matter what you're doing, what technique you're following. Because you might do different things at different times, right? Because certain things become trendy or not trendy or whatever, and you want to be able to evolve and move through that. So that being said, if you guys have been around, like I said, you guys know that I'm always giving you guys exactly how I do stuff. I show you, I shoot it live. I don't turn my back, to the audience and, oh, I'm gonna hide this. So you know how I do stuff. If you have questions about how I do stuff, I try to be open with it because I think ultimately that's how we all progress as photographers. Like I love to see somebody use something that I was using and create their own thing from it. Because honestly, you will create something different. I mean, I suppose there is that chance that you might produce the exact same photo, but you wouldn't do that unless you were really, really trying to do that, and I don't know why you would, really. Just copying a photo is not exactly the best way to learn. To me, this technique of stealing is what you should use. So, things are a lot easier nowadays because you can just watch a YouTube video and half the people out there are shooting BTS stuff and they're doing whatever, so you can figure out how people did stuff. Or there's people like me and many, many others that just show you and tell you, so you can use those techniques. We tell you exactly how to do it. But even if that's not the case, if you're looking at something and you want to copy it, you should be doing it for the right reason, which is you want to use that technique to do something that's in your mind, that's your particular style, that's your vision. Now, maybe you just think it's cool and you want to learn it. I mean, that's a totally valid reason. Although, if you do a photo that's just about a technique, and I think we've talked about this before, definitely have in my live stuff, then it's just a technique, right? When I teach, like multi-pop and pop and blur and all the other funky little flash techniques, we're not creating like portfolio pieces usually. We're just creating stuff to showcase how to use the stuff. What you want to do is learn that technique so that when you have the right subject, it becomes the right thing to do, right? It's like, oh yeah, I'm shooting, some kind of sports thing, and I want to have a bit of a blur or whatever, and that's going to create that feel for you. I'm shooting this, kind of sci-fi looking thing, so I want to use some funky, off-colored shadows or whatever. I mean, there's could be different reasons why you might use different techniques. So there's a big difference between just doing a technique and incorporating into your style. So if you see a photo that you like, let's say for instance you see a photo where, let's say it's a multiple exposure. I'm just going to pull this out of my butt. So you've got a multiple exposure, that you see, and you're like, oh, that's a really cool technique. And I'm actually photographing, this drummer, next week, and I think it'd be really cool to shoot, a multiple exposure of the drummer, right? So now you're going to look at the technique, and you're basically stealing it, right? You're going to see, all right, well, this is what they did. They did it with this, Olympic boxer, right? And they did maybe the fist, that kind of thing. Or maybe like a cross and then look at the, whatever, there's different things you can do, right? So you're gonna think, well, how does that work for me? Maybe this multi-pop, multiple exposure for a drummer would be great because I can have them playing the drums and, the sticks can be in multiple places, right? So you want to use that, right? That's what you're gonna try to figure out. Is like, how can I use this technique that somebody else used, let's say on the boxer with the multiple fists, I'm going to use it on the drummer, right? And it's similar in a lot of ways because the fists, we want multiples, but we don't want multiples of the face. Same thing with the drummer. We don't want multiples of the drummer. We just want the sticks. So we're going to be like, all right, how did they do that? Clearly, they just multi-popped one of the lights, right? That's obviously what happened, because if they multi-popped all the lights, then you wouldn't get that. And clearly it's a multi-pop because it's multiple exposures, it's not a blur. So now you're looking at this technique and you're stealing it, but you're also making it your own. If I see somebody who did this shot with a boxer and I go, okay, I'm going to find that exact boxer and go to that exact location and shoot that exact photo, unless I'm doing it to like teach people how to do it, like I might do, if you have a channel like mine, then maybe you do that. That's not the stealing I'm talking about. I think what you want to do is turn things into your own, right? Figure out how you can use different techniques to make them into your own. A lot of things, right? There's a lot of features built in cameras that you can do long exposures, you can do like focus stacking, there's all kinds of cool stuff that are built into the cameras that a lot of us don't use all the time. And if you see somebody using that feature, and then you're like, oh, that feature could work for what I do, don't feel like you can't use it because it's theirs. It's not theirs. It's in the camera, Anybody can do that technique. And anybody should do it. What's going to make us stand out as photographers is the stuff that goes beyond, I'm going to shoot it a plain old picture and then throw a filter on it that anybody can just buy that preset. What you want to do is do stuff during the shoot that other people, average people are not going to be able to replicate without learning some technique or some skill, right? That's going to put you ahead, right? It's going to make your photography different than other people's. So we should all be doing that all the time. And since we, as a collective of photographers in the world, want people to become skilled photographers and want photography to continue to expand and become, even more of an amazing art, we should want people to learn and see how we do it, right? We should want people to use these techniques because it will make photography less kind of boring, right? Because I think ultimately, since everybody has a camera, a lot of photography is boring, and what's making it interesting a lot of times is what people are doing with some filters and stuff. And when it comes down to it, is those filters are also boring in the end, right? Because you've got a dozen filters or whatever, and you're doing it. It's like, in the end, okay, so everybody's using this one filter, whatever, right? That's not like what we want as photographers. We want to be able to create. So when you learn a technique, when you see somebody using a technique that's really interesting, a long blur, or like a late night photo with the blur of the traffic going by, or a blur when you use it with a person with like the hands moving, or the moving in and out of shadow, or some kind of double exposure or shake or gels on the lights, or these kind of things. You should want to learn how to do that, right? You should want to learn, and you should take that and you should put it into your kit. Put it into your kit so that in your style, in your vision, you'll use it the way that you would use it to create the photos you will make, right? That's going to actually make us all better. All photographers will continue to expand, continue to get better, because we're always going to see cool new things happening. And we should be doing it. And there's no reason why you should feel like you can't do that. Because like I said at the beginning, you don't own that technique, bro. Don't tell me I can't use the multiple exposure because that's what you do all the time and that's your style. No, it's not. If that's your style, you have no style. That's basically the way it is. Don't call people out, but hey, that's the nature of it. If a technique is your style, that's not a style. You need to rethink it. Your style should come from in you. It should be what's pushing you forward. It should be what's creating your image, what locks things together, whether you're shooting, a portrait here, or a portrait there, or you're shooting a still life. Everything should have this like unity of your eye, your vision, right? And your vision isn't a technique, right? Your vision is your vision. It comes from in you. It's what's in your gut. So hopefully that makes sense and you guys agree. If not, or even if you do, I guess either way, put some comments below. I want to discuss this. I want to know what you guys like to do. Do you see a shot and try to copy it exactly and then take it from there? Or do you see a shot and just kind of put that technique in your pocket? Do you guys just never do that because you want to be original? What is it that helps you learn? Like, how do you move forward in your photography? What stuff are you doing? If you haven't already, please subscribe, ring the bell so you get the notifications, and I'll talk to you soon.